of the Carver Conservation Commission for February 17th, 2016. And our first order of business is, looks like reading of minutes from our last two meetings. I'd like to make a correction on in the discussions regarding the tree cutting at 20 Shore Road. It says abutters brought up issues. Well, actually, legally speaking, the gentleman who made the complaint is not an abutter. He's two lots over. Okay. And I think calling him an abutter gives him more grace than he deserves.
Did you find that one? It was in
So, I guess we could call it
Carver resident?
Just a, yeah, right. A resident of 22 Shore Road.
Oh, okay.
No, it's the other way.
Is it the other way?
Yeah, it's 16.
16.
He's 14 and his cabin is 16.
Good.
So it's 14 Shore Road.
Oh my God, I'd have him in Betsy's house.
Oh, no. Don't tell her that.
Wouldn't do.
Yeah, the abutting lot was 18.
Right, okay. So,
It's going to be on the January 13th.
Which meeting notes?
this is January 13th,
January 13th. Okay.
right? And it's right at the top of the second page, where it says abutters. That really should just be corrected and say,
And at the end also.
yeah, the resident of 16 Shore Road.
Is that the same thing, Jim, with the,
Yes.
at the end of the sentence?
Yes,
Yeah.
right. To send
Thank you.
to this resident.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So it's
So,
On page 3, in the large paragraph about 22 Cranberry Circle, about 6 lines from the bottom, it says Dan Forand instead of Fortier.
Oops.
oh,
It's Dan again.
I
Wrong,
thought they
Dan.
just forgot to put a space between them. Or brand,
No, it's not his name.
all righty.
okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay, seeing no further corrections or hearing no further corrections, could I have a motion to approve the minutes for January 13th as amended?
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as amended for January 13th, 2016. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Pass unanimous.
Hold on. Tim has to abstain, he wasn't a member of the commission at the time.
Okay,
One of the,
I'll abstain from that.
okay, so we should have 3-1. 3-0-1. Yeah, the vote will be 3-0-1.
plus in the minutes, he was about a hearing on his land.
Thank you,
Okay,
Dan.
now we'll have a look at the minutes of February 3rd, 2016. I don't have any problem with it.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of February 3rd as written.
The second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes for February 3rd, 2016 as written. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, and now Tim is in by this time, right? So we have, that's passed unanimous, 4-0. Okay, so, makes it smile. Discussion 303 Tremont Street, tree cutting
That one, we changed the site visit, yeah,
from,
Mickey Higgins, yeah,
New England
requested a
Farms.
site visit, so to look at the pine trees out there, but we changed that to March 1st.
okay.
Site visit to look at those. And then I talked to Mr. Ellis today about the gravel road and told him that it was probably gonna be a lot more than he thought. So, told him that he's gonna come in, explain to him what he has to do, get a plan with an updated wetland delineation, show some details of the road, put a culvert under that road if he wants to cross. Seemed like he's still,
Interested.
still interested in doing it. So he'll come in, file
Okay.
something with us, he knows he has to do. Probably get, maybe Webby Engineering or somebody to help him with the forms and stuff.
Okay.
And then one other thing, I don't think you heard this, Jim, we were supposed, today when we did the site visits, we were supposed to go by Foreshore Road. Remember the gentleman stopped in?
Yes,
But-
right.
And we forgot, so
Right.
anyway, I ran out after you had all left, because he was waiting for us. And he wants to cut 10 pine trees in front of his house here, he's in that little cluster of houses there on, say, on Shaw Road. So you probably need to do a site visit for those. I don't know if they're all, he's worried that they're gonna fall in the house, but we were kind of talking about it, and I think they're kind of,
It's a
if they
stretch.
fall, they're most likely to fall towards the pond, I think, but, and they don't really look diseased or anything, so I don't know, that's 10 trees is a lot of trees.
Yeah, we should go out and look at
We
it.
should
Yeah.
look at it.
So that's worth looking at, I think, before, we see, and then we'll need him to file a notice of intent if he wants to do it.
Yeah, and then I'll for sure.
Yeah.
10 trees.
Okay.
But he did mention, wanting to replant with something lower, but he did have a branch fallen.
Oh, now, if he's gonna replant, that means that he's thinking about taking stumps out. And then if he's that close to,
Right.
if they're too close to the pond, we may not wanna have. the
That's what I
stumps.
said. I said the ones closest to the pond, I said you should leave the stumps, because it's kind of a slope, and then there's another slope to the pond. So those were kind of right on the top of the second slope.
Right.
The ones up farther, closer to the house, he might be able to, if that was where he wanted to replant.
Okay.
I mean, you could kind of do,
Do a site visit.
yeah, I think you need to see it.
Let me know when you want to do the visit.
Okay. We could do that maybe when we do, yeah, we could do that when we do Tremont Street.
Yeah, we should also look, I think
Oh, yeah.
there's common property there, because it started
Oh,
as
it's an
condominium.
association, you're right.
So we should look and make sure that he's cutting on his own property.
Well, I asked him that because there was a fence, and one of the trees that he wants to cut is on the other side of the fence. I said, is that on your property? He said, well, it's the association.
Well,
So,
Then yes, no.
and I have permission from the association or something, so. And he was like, well, maybe they'll pay for some of this, and so it's like the whole, yeah. So, might be a little more complicated than just,
Yeah.
yeah, they may want to come, they may have to come in.
I know. Well, actually, his land must be part of the association, so if he would have to have permission from them, right, to cut.
I think that I don't think it's condominiums any longer. I think they've each bought themselves out,
Oh, okay.
but they still have the association to run the common area, the beach.
Yeah.
The beach is still a common area,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
Maybe we'll have to have them stake out all the lots so we know.
Could I bring something up at this
Yeah,
point?
go ahead, Tim. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We were talking, speaking again today about identification for the members on the board, sort of when they're walking on a private property and they say they're on the Conservation Commission, they can prove it, and they don't get. I have a copy of my old one, which I'd like to submit to you, sir, that you may give it to somebody, our agent, to bring forward so that we may consider this. If you could-
Patty, did you look at it, Steve?
No, but.
Oh,
it just
please
looks like a-
take your time and look at
Yeah.
it. But Dan may want to look
Yeah.
at it and get his opinion as well as Xavier.
So are those
This was
pretty easy to get
laminated.
made?
I beg your
Those
pardon?
pretty easy to have made?
Yeah, well, they're designed, they had them made in Plimpton in general.
Mm-hmm.
And as you look, they do type in for what committee it belongs to.
Oh,
If you
It's a
take a look at it, you'll
generic
see.
for town.
So it's not just for the Conservation
Right.
Commission, but I'm surprised that, the Board of Health doesn't carry a card, or,
Yeah?
so forth and so on. Zoning Board of Appeals, ZBA should have one. So I'm just thinking out loud that maybe we can get the town clerk to look at it, and she can also contact the Plimpton clerk that has these, and they can come up with a resolution if this board is so inclined.
I did talk to the agent saying that if we decided to go with photos, I could do that too. I could very
On the
easily do
left
that.
top side there, there's space for a photo, and the bottom left side is the town seal.
Seal, I
Right,
see,
right,
okay.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, reminds me of what my, the various cards I used to have in the military, the rifle
It's-
card, the meal
have-
card,
could
driver's
Xavier look
license,
at
they
it?
all look like that. Pardon?
Don, can Save look at it? I don't
No.
know if he's seen it, get his opinion as well. I just want everybody to,
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, and it's got a sequential number.
Yeah, right. Sequential numbers, everybody's got numbers, and they're all marked in the book and so forth.
Dan, you want to look?
Dan can take a peek at it, see what he thinks.
So we would be card-carrying members.
No, please keep that for reference.
Yeah, I'll take it and I'll show it to
Yeah,
Peggy, and she can
absolutely.
talk
And
to
when you're
him.
done with it, if I could have
Yeah.
it back, I'd appreciate
Yep.
it. I put it in my memoir drawer.
Nostalgic reasons.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Can I-
At this
Mr.
point.
Chairman,
Pardon me?
Jim, can I just give a quick update on the shed on the Laura Hudson
Oh, yes.
property?
Oh, yeah.
The Historic District Commission members were going to go view that, but the snow got in the way. I did go, and I looked at the building pretty carefully through the windows, inside and out, and there does not seem to be a lot worth salvaging in that
doesn't look like it.
building. And I did speak to the chair of the Historic District Commission. We are going to try to go as a group once it gets a little warmer, but the feeling is generally that the initial reaction of trying to get someone to come in to reclaim this is probably not going to be worth anyone's while. So we'll have to look at options.
Yeah.
What we may do, there may be some things in there that are worth salvaging, which we can barter for in return for the building being
Oh,
dismantled
yeah.
and taken away.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that.
So with the historic commission, would you be involved in the whole, if they tore it down, getting
Yes.
somebody to take it down? Yeah,
Yes, we would. We'd arrange for that
yeah.
to happen.
Okay,
Okay, that's it.
so,
But it takes a vote of the commission, because it's commission land, before anything.
Before it gets taken down, right?
right, but that will follow when we decide to consider that. All right, at this point, I'd like to open the hearing. So, notice is hereby given in accordance with Mass Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7:15 PM on Wednesday, February 17th, 2016, in meeting room number 1 at the Carver Town Hall, to hear the notice of intent for Borrego Solar Systems, Inc., for the proposed installation of a 1,388.52 kilowatt DC ground-mounted photovoltaic cell solar array. Proposed work will be conducted within 100 feet of a wetland resource area. Project is within the 65-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland and will require variance from the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw. Project is located at 14 West Street, map 74, lot 9-0, and 20 West Street, map 74, lot 8-0, Carver, Mass. All interested parties are invited to attend. And now would the applicant please come up, or his representative?
Good evening. For the record, my name is Dean Smith. I'm with Borrego Solar. Mr. Ward, the property owner, is also here this evening. I'm not sure where the best location for everyone
That's good.
to see this is.
That's good right there.
Actually, over there was good, facing out this way.
Okay.
That way the camera can pick it up,
Okay.
and,
Over here behind
yeah.
this.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
Do you have, excuse me, do you have the green cards?
I do have the green
Excuse me, could he put that more against the wall so I could get him?
Yeah, more toward it, more, okay. That's good, that's good.
You can all sit over there.
Okay. Oh, the appearance, yeah. Thank you.
Not here.
Okay. We are proposing our system on the Morts property on West Street, just across the way from here. There, Lot 8, which is where the facility will be located, is 51.2 acres in total. We're going to develop a little over 5 acres of that with our solar system. Their residence is located over here on the west side of the lot. There's a series of cranberry bogs that they produce cranberries with. Our system is located in this open area here and this northernmost bog on the east side of the property.
He likes the stick.
Oh, you're gonna hit him with it.
There is a small triangle of vegetation here that will be cleared as part of the property, or part of the project. The rest of it is located in these open areas that are adjacent and this bog here on the north. Our environmental consultants, Northeast environmental consultants, were out, flagged the wetland boundaries of those areas. They did test the soils in the bog where our project is proposed, and it's all underlying upland soils there. Mr. Ward brought a historical aerial as well. The wetlands are to the west here, the natural wetlands. The area where the bogs are now was previously upland area and was intentionally developed for bog operation there.
Jim, can you use it like?
Oh, that's, yeah, I'm sorry.
Are you having trouble hearing?
No, the TV audience.
Oh, okay. Let me slide it over a little
I
closer.
think that disconnects, and you could probably.
That comes out of its stand.
Okay.
Can pull out,
Just
yeah.
take it with me.
There you go.
Okay, and there's enough cord.
That works.
Okay, is that better now? Okay. As I said, we're going to be doing very little clearing for the project. The area is also mostly pretty flat. There is some excavation that's existing on the site, and then the bog itself, which is a bit lower than the surrounding area. This little triangle where the vegetation is a bit higher than the areas around it. So when we clear that, we'll knock it down and grade this so that there's not as steep a drop from the berm that's around the bog down into the lower elevations of the bog. This whole area drains to the south and the west into the adjacent bogs, and then that's all an interconnected system and drains. It kind of steps down according to what Mr. Ward has described. There's a control structure on the east end of this that we can leave in place because we're not going to be developing the very eastern portion of that bog. There's also a perimeter ditch around it that provides for drainage, and we'll leave the southern portion of that in place as well. So all the surface drainage will come south and then into that ditch and continue to flow into their managed system. We haven't done a lot of stormwater calculations in this for this project because the whole system is managed. They pump water as needs be to raise the water levels in their bogs, and they have control structures that they can raise and lower to manage the water levels in there. So that'll all remain much as it is right now, except for the development of this northern bog. We're not creating a lot of additional impervious surface. We will be building an access road in. It'll be a gravel roadway, not paved, so not strictly impervious. It'll come in through the Lot 9 frontage and down through this vegetated area here, along the existing access roads and into our site down here. Let me show you what the site looks like. This is the site plan that was submitted with our application. We did meet with the wards recently, and we're in the process of making a few modifications to that, which I'll describe, but this is what was submitted to the commission for review. So here's our driveway coming in from West Street. There will be a corridor of clearing through that vegetated area up there, which is all uplands, following the existing road and down into our site. This black heavy line that I've got indicated here is where the fence around our facility will be, the rows of solar modules, and there will be a small equipment area. The equipment itself, the transformers and some of the other equipment, is mounted on concrete pads, but that entire area is not. It's mostly gravel area too that can also store and provide recharge into the groundwaters. One of the changes that we're making after meeting with Mr. Ward, there's a small area of existing vegetation right here on the east side of this northernmost bog, and they want to retain a portion of that because their residence is right over here, and that'll provide a little visual shield between this and West Street and the residence there. So the 200-foot setback line comes right down through this gray area here, so our fence line will be shifting over closer to the setback line and a little south to avoid this vegetation. So it'll spread out a little bit in this area, but it'll be very much the same, although we may bring our entrance road down to be more central here. It's more efficient to have the equipment area in the center part of the site, so we'll probably make that change along the way as well. The blue highlight are the flagged wetlands. Those are the bogs that will remain in operation. The existing bog that we're developing was flagged as a wetland because it's operated as a wetland. It's pumped in and the water levels are raised. But as I said, they did test the underlying soils. It's all upland soils underlying that area. This red line is the 65-foot buffer around these. The green line is the 100-foot buffer. So we are proposing that some of our system is located within the 65-foot buffer, but in those areas, because we're backing off from this, there'll be less of our facility located within the buffer there. We're not going to be clearing those trees. So there's not any actual clearing of vegetation within those buffer areas. It's already cleared. The purple line is the flood zone. So there is a flood zone that's to the south and the west of us, but we're outside of the areas that are affected by that. The system itself is mounted on racks. We won't do a lot of earthwork, as I had mentioned before, to construct the facility. They come in and they put the supports for the racks in. There's not any actual excavation. They're screwed into the ground, and then the racks are assembled on top of them. So there's very little earth disturbance involved with that. The system itself will be almost 1.4 megawatts when it's completed. The security fence that's proposed is a 6-foot-high chain link fence with 1 foot of barbed wire. The electrical codes require it to be a minimum of 7 feet tall, so that's how we meet that requirement. It will be gated, locked. The emergency services will have access to it, but the public will not. So for safety, it's locked at all times. There's very little time that we need to spend on site once the system is in operation. We come in a couple times a year to mow the grass, and the only other time that anyone would need to be on site is if there's some kind of a maintenance issue that somebody would need to come in and physically look at the equipment. But the equipment is actually monitored remotely, so if there's a problem, alerts are raised there. There's not a requirement for people to be on site frequently. There's only one lighting fixture proposed, approximately a 9-foot pole with a shielded motion-activated light that's directed downward. So it's just directed on the equipment area itself. It's not going to spread a lot of light outside of that area. The equipment does hum when it's in operation, but between 50 and 100 feet away from that, the levels are back down to background noise levels. And the Ward's residence is actually the closest residence to it, and from this location, it's about 550 feet to their residence. So we're not expecting to have any impact on any of the surrounding uses in that regard. When we're done with our construction, we come back in and we'll seed with native grasses all the areas that have been disturbed. So it will be basically a meadow after we're done, just with the racks of equipment sitting there. So we'll be going from bare soil to meadow in some cases, from the bog to meadow in some cases. So because we're not changing the surface elevations a lot, we're not really expecting to change the hydrology of the site significantly or the drainage patterns in the area. That pretty much sums up the project. If you have any specific questions, I'm here to answer your questions. If the public has questions, I'm happy to answer those as well.
Mr. Chair, may I ask one question?
Go, please.
When do you plan on having the completed drawings to us?
Well, we're working on the revision now.
That's it.
So I would say by the end of next week, for sure. So I'll try and get them here Thursday, since your offices aren't open on Friday.
Thank you.
I have a question. I'm also on the Carver Master Plan Commission and Committee, and one of the things that we've been discussing since solar is coming into Carver, one of the gentlemen who is with the consulting company that is working with the Master Plan Committee has been a strong advocate of planting flowering plants in solar fields basically for bees. Bees.
Oh, okay.
As a good habitat for bees. Is that something that would be considered? I don't know, Mr. Ward, if that affects your
I love the idea,
Okay,
and my wife would love it even more.
all right.
We have used
Very good piece.
wildflower mixes on some of our other sites. They haven't done well. That's why we don't generally propose them off the top, but we're, you know.
Could there
we
be
can
a
use-
mix?
We can use
A
whatever
blend?
seed mix is preferable here in the local area that the commission has a recommendation on. We're happy to give that a try, no problem.
Is it because of the diminished sunlight that they don't seem to do as well?
The shading wasn't the issue there, because we used it, sometimes we have to clear areas outside the fence, and that's where the wildflower mix was used. And I'm not really sure why it didn't do well, but it didn't on other projects. And maybe they may not have been down here in the southeast part of the state, so it might have been a slightly different soil type and climate, and maybe they just didn't do well for that regard. The grass mix that we typically use is shade tolerant, drought tolerant. So the partial shade that they would get from the racking, it doesn't really affect the grasses. And I wouldn't think that it would affect a lot of wildflower mixes either, because they're at a 25-degree angle. So there's a substantial part of the day that there's still sunlight below the racks. So, and various portions of it would see the sunlight during various portions of the day. So it wouldn't be completely shaded in any of the areas.
And just down the street is a fellow who's very experienced with growing plants and flowers, and who was also actually putting up his own solar array on the bog next to his area. So maybe we'll call him in for expertise.
That would be great, yeah, if we could get some recommendation as to exactly what kind of mix would be best to use there.
I can talk to the gentleman at Serpent as well.
Yeah. I had a question. I noticed that the southernmost, I would say, of the array, southernmost lines of the array, they are within the 65-foot, right? So we'll need a variance, application variance. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Nick already
don't let-
pointed that out to me, and I brought the letter along
Excellent, excellent.
requesting that variance.
So I have no further questions. Mr. Ward?
Dean, if you're gonna move the plant or the maintenance part of the facility
Yes.
through the middle, will you also move that light?
Yes, it would also move. It's always located adjacent to the major equipment, so it'll be down here more in the central portion of the site.
And that'll be on your updated drawings you'll
Yes.
be given in the end of the week?
Yes, it will.
Thank you.
And I can provide our typical cut sheet for the fixtures that we use. If you're interested in that, I can submit that with the revised drawings as well.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Any from abutters? Any questions?
I got no questions, but I'm all for it. I'm one of the major parties for it.
Excellent, thank you. Thanks, Mr. Ferrer.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this gentleman, are you in the butter, sir?
No, I'm not. I'm a civil engineer.
Oh,
He's with-
okay.
he's with my
You're working with
office,
you,
yes.
these guys, okay, I wasn't sure. Okay.
He's learning.
Need name tag.
Yeah, and you're probably already aware, but we are going before the planning board on March 1st. So we'll be making our presentation to them. They will have the revised drawings before we actually attend their hearing. So
So I figured we could probably continue it probably till maybe they,
Okay.
done with the planning board, went to
I believe
that.
we could approve it at this point, but if you want to continue it, that would, until we get the revised drawings and after the planning
well, we
board.
could
I would
continue
approve
it.
it upon the revised drawings.
Yes,
for
okay.
sure,
Yeah, so you could, so you
I
want,
don't have any problems with what you said with the new drawings,
yeah,
sure.
but I would like to see the new drawings.
I'm very happy to come back and answer any questions that you might have as a result of seeing
That'll be
the
very,
revisions
a
to
very
our site
quick
plan.
yes and no thing.
That's fine with me.
Mr. Ferrer,
Question, we all know what the revised plan is gonna be. Just explain to us. I mean, I don't see why we couldn't go forward with the vote.
well, it's just that, so there may be something that the planning board throws into the mix. See, they're going to have their meeting next week and look at it, and if they throw any questions up, that we have to then reconsider something.
Will we be notified on the other meeting?
No, the next meeting that we'll plan to, we'll continue this to the next Concom meeting, and at that point, which you will know tonight, will be in 2 weeks, so.
Well, it'll actually be March 16th.
Oh,
We
actually,
don't have
March
anything
16th,
for-
okay.
yeah.
So there's no need for me to be here as an abutter anymore?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
Right.
Like I said, me and my brother are both for the plan.
Right.
Green energy is helping us, helping him.
right.
Yeah, I think it works for all of us.
Maybe you could run the yard from it, put up your own array.
Their input is in your minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm all for it, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
here to support Dick, I'm not here to oppose him. in
No,
any
no,
way.
fine.
I'm nothing here 100% on Mr. Ward's side.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, I think, you know,
Excellent.
it'll bring revenue to the town of Carver, revenue to Dick, I mean,
Yep.
I'm all for it, 100%.
Absolutely.
I mean, I couldn't tell you how much more for it I
Yeah. In addition, one of the things that I didn't discuss is that this is a community energy project, which means that utility users within this local utility district will have discounted electrical rates available to them. So,
Question for that. I
Yes.
mean, I saw people do this in other places, and people that put them in, then their light bill goes up, like the windmills in Kingston.
right, the wards aren't going to be directly taking any of the energy from the system.
Right.
Just like all the other residents of the community, they'll be able to apply for the discounted electric rate as well. It's between 10 and 20%
Yeah.
off your electric bill.
Oh,
And, well,
Anyone's.
anyone that makes the application to the community electric project, anybody in this service district can apply.
That's totally 100%.
Okay. Well, at this point, I'd like a motion to continue.
I'll second.
It's been-
Motion. I'll make the motion.
Oh,
Okay.
I
Are
thought
we
you
going to
made,
continue or vote?
We're going to continue it till,
Okay.
Yeah.
right.
Then I make a
next,
motion that we continue this to the
So
next
it's
meeting.
March 16th?
March 16th. Yep.
I'll second.
It's been
I thought he did.
moved and seconded to continue the hearing for the 14 West Street Solar Project until March 16th. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass unanimous. Thank you. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean.
Don't tell my other board.
Can you sign in, please, on that clipboard?
I sure can.
Good luck, Dick. I'm all for it.
No, nobody can sign it.
Yeah, I know.
You can sign it.
I don't have a card yet. Do you have any business cards on you?
Dean, are you with the Lowell office of Braga?
Yes, yeah, we're on Technology Drive in Lowell.
As long as you're here, and this has nothing to do with the Concom, I just wanted to ask you a quick, is your solar array in series? In other words, does it go according to the lowest charge or the individual panels?
Unfortunately, I'm not an electrical engineer. We have a whole staff of electrical engineers that they haven't designed every detail of the system yet at this point. They've selected the equipment. So I believe that this is string inverters, which means that it's all stringed to.
It's all string to one, yes, I understand that.
But I don't know,
If they're
the
in-
panels are all generally the same.
Yeah, if they're in series, then the lowest panel on that series is what all the panels go for.
Again.
And then they have individual panels that,
Yeah, I'm not sure about the efficiency and the production rates.
All right.
I really can't answer any of your questions.
Maybe he'd like to come down in March. Those fellows, right? Okay.
when you go to the Boston Home Show, ask those guys that question. You're gonna have 100 guys, you're gonna have 100 guys asking, doing solar panels, ask them that question, they go, huh? I love it.
I appreciate
thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is this ours?
I think that you had it.
No, I didn't have it.
Oh, I think-
It's
That's ours. Okay, at this point, I want to Okay, Shaw Road, is this a new hearing then for Shaw Road?
This is for the after the fact, yep.
Okay, after the fact,
New hearing,
okay.
yep.
So then, notice is hereby given in accordance with the Mass Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7:30 PM on Wednesday, February 17th, 2016, in Meeting Room 1 at the Carver Town Hall to hear the after-the-fact request for determination of applicability filed by Betsy Wimpress to determine, A, whether an area depicted on the documents and/or maps referenced is an area subject to jurisdiction in the Wetlands Protection Act, and C, where's B? Okay, C, whether the work depicted on the reference documents is subject to the Wetlands Protection Act, and D, whether the area and/or work depicted on reference documents is subject to the jurisdiction of any municipal wetlands ordinance or bylaw of the town of Carver. The proposed project consists of the cutting of 8 trees adjacent to the existing house and power lines for safety purposes. The project is located at 20 Shore Road, Carver, Mass., map 2, lot 1-0. All interested parties are invited to attend. Copies of all plans, filings, and pertinent documents are available at the Carver Conservation Commission office. Okay.
So there's nobody here, I guess, for the applicant, but.
Right.
So this was the after-the-fact filing for the cutting of the trees. So
Right.
pretty much everybody's seen it.
Did any of the commissioners have questions about?
No, I was at the site
And
visit.
I did take, Tim went out and saw
Yes.
20 Shaw Road, yep.
Dan, do you have any? Okay. I'd like to say that I'm a little confused that this seems to, in the line 5, where it says request for determination, so whether an area depicted, and that's subhead A, and then it goes to,
I took B out because B is for confirmation of the wetland line, which you really didn't ask for in this, so I
Right.
just took it out. I probably should just leave it and have you
Right.
read the whole thing. But in that case, she wasn't asking us to
Okay.
confirm, the wetland boundary.
okay, that's where B went to then.
So that was why I took it, yeah, that's why it goes from A
Maybe
to
you
C.
should write B
Yeah.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I could say B and
Confused me,
A.
no, yeah.
I could just say B not applicable.
all right. So, if we have no discussion on it.
No butters or no,
So we have somebody would like to make a motion to approve the, well, actually, this is a new hearing, yes, that's right, it is a new hearing, so we do have to close that. Just go up that. So we have no further discussion. Let's have a motion, to close the hearing.
I make a motion that we close the hearing on 20 Shore Road.
Tim, want to second that?
Second.
Moved and seconded to close the hearing on 20 Shore Road. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's passed unanimous. And now,
so we're issuing a negative determination that the area described is an area subject to protection, but the work will not remove, fill, or alter that area. So she's actually getting a negative determination, because we also determined that they were, I think I wrote that in the explanation, that they, she was cut the trees for safety reasons.
okay.
Which negative?
Yeah, do we need numbers? right?
It is negative 2. Negative determination 2, I'm sorry, yeah, 2.
-2. Okay. So given that, everybody's happy? Let's have a motion to issue the determination as outlined by the agent.
So move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to issue a determination of applicability as outlined by the agent in the 20 Shore Road case. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass unanimously.
Okay, I'll have you sign. So are you gonna send this to
Yeah,
think yourself?
right.
Yeah, okay,
Just wanted to
It's a good idea, yeah.
have the commission be aware of it.
yeah.
Because it's, even though it's my letter, it's
It's really from,
written-
yeah,
Yeah, it's written as the chairman.
yeah.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okey-dokey.
Any discussion? It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And this-